Hey everyone, so I'm going to walk through the demos of how to download the necessary software so that you can get steady up and working on your local machine. Obviously, this is just a basic installation demo. Hopefully in the future stuff like this wouldn't be necessary, because as companies improve, they would automate these kinds of tasks so that individuals don't need to waste their time manually going through and downloading each specific software or development kit in order for that certain application to work. And that's one thing you'll learn later on in the course. But for now, we're just going to walk through how to get the basic setup on your own instance so you can see it, how it's all supposed to go. You'll have links in the documentation of where to go to download these things, but it's really easy to find most of them. You can just search Git, G-I-T, in Google, and the first thing that'll likely come up is their website, and you can hit downloads and download for your specific operating system. I'm on Windows, and that's what I'm going to be showing today. So here it is. It's just going to download an executable file. Once it gets done downloading, it'll ask the typical things that executables ask for when downloading a program, so that it'll have permissions and all those kinds of things. There's nothing specific that you need to do for Git, just run it and then give it permission. Because I have recently had it, it's going to have some problems. I just go through and say okay. I deleted it just recently. Obviously read their information and it'll start installing. That's the whole process on Git. It's going to go right to where it needs to. You don't need to do anything specific. Now, for the next files, we recommend that you maybe place them in a place in your file directory that you're going to be very aware of. That way you can easily know where the project is and where the rest of your stuff is. So we're going to make a few folders, one called Etsy, one called Java, and one called Maven. You can also put your project itself here, or you could put it somewhere else. I am going to and let me delete that. We'll do this later where we'll add that file. But what we'll do is I'm going to have my 262 folder, and instead I'm just going to delete this. This is where it's going to be, but I'm going to make a new folder here and put it into this 262 folder in my local documents. It's up to you where you put it. It's not a big deal regardless. This is still loading, so as that's going, I'm just going to make a new folder and we're going to call it GitHub Projects. Cool. Awesome. So once that's downloaded, or once that's made, we also will start downloading the JDK. And you will just follow this link. It takes you right to the zip, so you don't even have to navigate. This is at least for Windows users. Again, you just click on it and it's going to start downloading the zip file. And I would move this from your downloads once it's complete, or extract it to that Java folder that we made. You can also install Maven during this time. I'm just going to do them one at a time to try to make it as clear as possible what you have to do. Now, the order of these software and programs do matter. You should have Git first, and then you should download the JDK, and then you should download Maven. I think it's not too big of a deal if you do end up kind of doing it in your own order, but I'm just going to move this right into my Java folder and extract it here. So while that's doing that, and Git is nearly done installing, it's going to be copying all of those files to that folder. Cool. Now, for the sake of convenience, I'll just start downloading Maven as well. As the instructions say, it's okay if your version number is not the same as the file name, but you should come here to this and then find the binary zip archive, and we will just, this is asking about the JDK files. I'm gonna just skip these files because they're already there. Binary zip archive, so I'm just gonna click the link and have it start downloading, and it's saying that it can't be downloaded securely. I'm going to just discard this. Oh, and by discard I just meant allow. I'll cancel that. I'll just keep it. Cool. Now that's done. So it looks like the JDK should have copied over to the Java, and it looks like it is. Awesome. And then now we're going to also do the same thing for Maven, where I just want this file, this folder, also in Maven, just so I know where it's going to be at. You can put it anywhere you want, but be aware that you will need to know your file paths, and you're going to need to be aware of where these things are to just get set up initially. But we're going to set up the environment variables now for Maven and Java. So go to the search bar and type in env, and it'll pop up edit the system environment variables. Then you go down to startup and recovery and hit the environment variables button. Then you will want to create new variables. The name for the Java is going to be Java home, and you are going to type in the C drive, if this is where you put it, C Java JDK 14.0.2/bin. Okay. Then we're going to create a new variable with MVN as its variable name, and C Maven Apache Maven 3.6.3. Okay. Then you are going to need to go into this paths, and you can edit. Now you need to add these paths into this path variable as well. So type new, and you will again do Java JDK 14. Let's hope I don't make a typo here. If you do make a typo, you won't get the result that you need. So don't fat finger anything and you'll be fine. You'll also do the same thing for Maven. And here you will want the bin for Maven. So then you say okay, you say okay, you say okay. So if you open up a PowerShell, before Java would not have worked, but now if you open up a new PowerShell and try the same command, it doesn't work. But let's see if it was just in the session. Okay, let's try it one more time. Yep, Java is working. So if something doesn't work, it might be because your session variables are stored and you just need to create a new. But now you can do Java version and you'll see this. And you can also do MVN version and you'll see Mavens. For the next part of the setup process, we want to go ahead and come back to our C drive where Java and Maven were, and we're going to have this etc drive that I talked about earlier. Right now it's empty, but you will want to make a steady folder in there. That's where we're going to place application configuration file that we'll need a little later. You can make the GitHub, like I said before, wherever you want. I'm going to put it here in my 262 documents folder. That's just where I think it'll be best for me. So now we're going to clone this into this folder here. So we're going to copy GitHub projects, go to PowerShell, and we want to go to that same location. Now notice that if you have any spaces in your directory, you will need to make this into a string like I'm going to. If you don't, it will not work. So now I'm over here in this directory. You then need to clone the repository steady into this folder. Now that we have Git, this is possible. If you didn't have Git installed, this portion of the code wouldn't work. So it's all done and it's all there. That's pretty fast and easy, isn't it? So we can go back to my 262 and GitHub has these folders in it. We want to go grab the application configuration file that's found in source, main, resources. So here it is. We're just going to copy it. And then we're going to go to that etc folder, go into steady, and paste it. Now, you can use command line or you can use GUI. It really isn't a big deal either way. Just copy it to that location. So now we are going to need to edit this file. So you can open it with anything, but I'm going to open it with Notepad because it's just text. And we do need to update this if this step hasn't already been fixed in the future. So what you do in the documents, it tells you what you'll want to add, and it should be highlighted in yellow or very visible. And I'm trying to find it now, but it looks like that documentation's old. So this is what we'll add. We'll get into specifics of what's going on with this later, but for now, we just need to add this Kafka. That's the big change that we're making. So Control S or save it. I'm just going to close it there. And now I'm in PowerShell here, and I'm in the GitHub projects. So we're now going to be able to go into the steady folder and do mvn, which is Maven, clean package. Oh, so I accidentally have the wrong variable to run this program. It's looking at the GRE instead of JDK. That just means I'm one file more than I should be, and so that's really easy to fix. So environment variable, it's saying that this needs to not have been on it, is what that error is meaning. Okay, and I might just have to get the present working directory. if you right click in PowerShell, it's going to copy it into your clipboard. I'm going to reload PowerShell with the new environment variable made, and we're going to try this again, mbn clean package. So if you're seeing scanning for projects, building, this is a sign that you're in the right place. Don't worry about warnings. If things start popping up red, you'll know that that's a problem. They'll say failure and that kind of thing. But from here, it's looking like it's running successfully. This might take a little while on certain computers, just depending on what you have going on in the background and whatnot, but it shouldn't be too bad. So now we are going to use this command. So the command to configure the Java dconfig is just java-d config etc steady application, and this is in single quotes, as you can see right here, single quotes. Now if you run it and it has problems, it may have been that an environment variable was wrong or something like that. But if you've gotten to this point and you're starting to see these warnings about unable to create due to an exception, so that actually means that you have completed the setup. So if you go to localhost, and I believe it's 4567, you will see steady, and you have gotten it working locally. So hopefully everything makes sense. It's as simple as installing those three things: Git, Maven, and of course the Java JDK, as well as running the command to make a clone of the steady project. One more time for the environment variables, just so you can see them. It's Java JDK, no bin, Maven Apache, no bin, and then you also can check out the path and say bin on both. So that's it. Hopefully everything worked out for you. If you have any questions, let us know.